Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Whether it's routine maintenance, an emergency repair, or a dream project, Angie lets you compare quotes from multiple local pros, browse homeowner reviews, and even book a service instantly. Angie's been connecting people with skilled pros for nearly 30 years. So the next time you have a home project, bring it to Angie to get your job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
But at the end of the day, she's still my daughter, but don't do mommy like this.
No, don't do mommy like this. Mommy's got a point, I gotta tell you.
This is the plaintiff, Barbara Mack. She says the defendant, her daughter, who she shared an apartment with, up and left her in the middle of the lease, leaving her high and dry, unable to afford the full rent. She can't believe her own daughter would do this to her mama. Owes her for back rent and owes her for a loan she made to her, too. So she's suing for $3,800, the amount owed. This is the defendant, Desherika Smith. She says her mother owes her for food and bills she paid for while she was living there and definitely does not owe her any money for rent. She can't believe her own mother would now turn around and sue her and feels she's being very petty. Bottom line, they're more than even. She owes nothing and thinks the judge will agree. She's accused of upsetting her mother.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigant have been sworn in.
Thank you, Douglas. Barbara Mack?
Hi.
You are suing your daughter, Desherika Smith, for $3,800 in rent and loans that she has not paid you, correct?
Correct.
All right. Your daughter moved in with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were already living there?
Yes, ma'am.
How much was the rent before she moved in? How much were you paying in rent?
$1,300.
Okay. Why did your daughter move in with you?
She didn't have nowhere else to go, I guess, her and her girlfriend.
Oh, her and her girlfriend. Okay. So the two of them moved in with you and lived with you how long?
About a year.
All right. And was your daughter's name ever on the lease?
Yes, I have a copy of it right here.
Was your name on the lease?
Yes.
Okay. And how much were you paying in rent and how much was she paying in rent?
I was paying $650 and she was paying $650.
All right. Why did your daughter end up leaving?
I really don't know. I just happened one day, I was gone with my other daughter. When I come back, she was gone.
Did you have a fight?
No.
Did you talk to her and say, hey, where'd you go?
I've talked to her from distance, but I never asked her. Maybe I'll find out now.
Why'd you leave?
I actually left because she was being too much, as far as like with my girlfriend, starting fights or whatever, picking petty arguments. So I just started to save my money to
Did you ever tell her that you were going to leave?
No.
You just left?
Yeah.
And you're on the lease?
I mean, she's a hard person to talk to.
Listen, I don't have a problem with you leaving, but what do you suspect is going to happen with the rent issue? Because I realized she was paying all that rent before you, but then you were there a whole year helping out with the rent. You would pay $650. Did your girlfriend pay too or no?
No, she was actually just my company, so she'll come, but she
Well, your
didn't
company
stay.
for how long? For a year or no?
I mean, long as we dated, she'll come over here and there, but she didn't stay
She
there.
didn't actually live there.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, when you're going to, imagine, if you will, a moment, if instead of your mother, it was a roommate. Do you think that maybe you owe your roommate an explanation if you're leaving rather than just leaving?
Not if you done little things around the house.
Little things?
Yeah.
You don't need to say, hey, I just want to let you know that I am going to be leaving and you're going to have to come up with another $650. You don't think that's required of you, of common decency?
She was paying rent before I moved there. She had been staying there.
She was counting on you and you're on the lease. So she's counting on you this time until the end of the lease, which is another 4 months, right?
Correct.
Did you end up breaking the lease earlier?
Yes, a month earlier. I left in August.
Let me see the lease. All right, so you gave her no notice because she's your mother. You probably give a stranger notice, but not your mother. And then what happened? Did you two talk to each other?
Just here and there, but not much.
Well, did you have a good relationship before this?
Pretty much, I can say. I mean, besides...
You don't think this is odd? Because the rest of us listening to you think it's odd. That you just get up and leave and that neither one of you speak to each other after that.
We were speaking, just not on a regular basis. I mean,
okay, so did you ever explain to her, I left because of X? Did you ever say anything to her?
No, she never asked. I mean...
She never asked. Okay.
So not only that, she borrowed my money, too.
Tell me about her borrowing your money.
Well, I thought I left it at home, but here's the paper she signed agreeing to pay me.
What did you loan her money for?
For a recording studio equipment.
How much?
$1,200. She's into music.
Okay.
And I told her she had to pay me in 6 months. I needed my money.
Right.
And she agreed, and I just went through these papers, and I found the paper where she signed.
Did you borrow $1,200 for music for recording studio kind of equipment?
Yes.
Have you paid that back?
No, she got in an argument with my girlfriend and told me, don't worry about it.
I don't know why you think that every argument with your girlfriend means $3,800 for you, but why would you think that? She may be the worst person in the world and the most horrible person to live with and totally disrespectful to your girlfriend. You then can do certain things like not have your girlfriend around her, maybe not even you be around her because you don't appreciate her doing that. But how does that mean you don't have to pay for things you're supposed to pay for?
She got in an argument with me and my girlfriend, and she said, don't worry about it. So that's what I did.
Oh, that's what I always do. When I'm arguing with somebody, I tell them, you know what, let me give you a $1,200 gift. Did you ever tell her she didn't have to pay the $1,200?
No. Why would I?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. My question is very simple. If you had a daughter, would you sue her if she screwed you over with money?
Definitely not.
Because?
She's my daughter.
I get it, but she's not respecting you by saying, I'm not going to pay you money that I know I owe you.
But family is family, and you don't do that to family.
Do you not become a sitting duck for a relative if you just say, yeah, I'm never going to sue you, so you can just walk all over me?
I would say, yeah, that's...
Would you sue your daughter?
No, I will not sue my daughter.
Oh, but you hesitated for a second.
A little bit, yes, because, you know...
For $500?
No, definitely not.
$1,000? $5,000?
Maybe.
10. 20.
Okay, yes.
Going inside the courtroom.
If I'm arguing with you, I'm mad at you and I want my $1,200 now.
Really?
I mean, I'm 23 years old. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm not gonna, don't worry about it. Just get out my face. I mean...
But she didn't throw you out.
I sure
no,
did.
if I tell somebody don't worry about it, that means you don't have to come pay. Don't worry. Just don't be in my lane. Just don't be nowhere around
That's
me.
what she thinks.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Yeah.
That's kind of convenient.
But at the end of the day, she's still my daughter, but don't do mommy like this.
No, don't do mommy like this. Mommy's got a point, I gotta tell you. All right, she's on the lease. I had this. Did you make any payments towards the $1,200?
No, I bought her grandkids shoes. And
okay, tell me what your defense is, because you brought her grandkids shoes.
Yeah, I mean, her grandson's birthday was coming up. She was stressing out, you know, she wanted to do this, she wanted to do this. I mean, because I have a girlfriend, I'm not giving her no grandkids. My sister gave her some. She wanted to do it.
First of all, just so you, well, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, I went and bought the shoes and stuff and brought it. Hey, you know, Mom, you can tell your grandkids these yours. I didn't ask to be an auntie. She wanted to be a grandmother. So, I mean, those.
I don't know what you're saying. You bought gifts for her to give her grandkids from her?
Yeah.
You mean, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Really?
Instead of from you?
Exactly. She wanted to give them something. I didn't mind not giving them anything.
So did the two of you give the gift?
No.
Just she gave the gift?
Yeah.
Okay. And you think that excuses a $1,200 loan and a $2,600 rental debt?
I mean, it should be more lenient towards it.
How can you figure that?
What do you want to sit here actually and do a list where we put everything she's done for you and everything you've done for her to see if it evens up? I don't know. Maybe it will. I have no idea.
How old did she say she was? And how many years did I have to take care of?
Well, she didn't ask to be brought here. You brought her here.
Sure did.
As I tell my children, I brought you here and I can take you out.
You sure did.
All right. So this lease went on until when? Because I'm still trying to September. No, it ends on September 1st.
Right.
So you must, if you left a month early, this ends
in September.
On September 1st. So you didn't leave at the end of August. You left then at the end of July. If you left a month early. You left July 30th.
I didn't leave a month early.
If you left August 30th, then that's when this ended. It ended September 1st.
You
see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you acknowledge that you didn't pay May, June, July, or August, correct?
August, yes.
That's correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you say that you left at the end of August, but that's the end of the lease. Did you leave a month before the lease ends?
No, I left at the end of the lease. I told the rent man I wasn't going to be able to pay him for September.
But you didn't have to pay him for September.
I know. I was going to renew my lease. Thinking she was, but
right.
Since she did.
Miss Smith, I don't know what your defense is. I don't know whether it's I bought a pair of sneakers for my nephew. I didn't ask to be an aunt, and she was able to say they were from her, so therefore I don't know. Those are some expensive sneakers, okay? Because we're talking about $3,800, $2,600 in rent, and $1,200 for a loan that you didn't pay a penny on. All right? Pay your mother. $3,800. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
The defendant's on the way out here. Come on in after the ruling in this case. What are your comment on this thing here at this point?
I just hope my mother find peace and happiness now that she have her money that she wish she really get. I mean, I still feel I don't owe her anything because of the things I did for her.
How about what she's done for you, stepping up and everything?
I want to thank her for that. I mean,
she's your mom, right? How many moms do you have?
One.
Do you love your mom?
Yes.
Okay. You stood in the courtroom poker face the whole time, because
I'm really shocked she would really bring me here. I mean, but she won. Let it be peace. I mean, hopefully we'll start a new relationship after this.
Okay. All right. Right down this way. Follow Officer McIntosh, please. All right. So you step in here and tell me what's going through your mind here.
That I'm glad I'm getting my money.
Is this all about money in this family?
No, it's not really all about money. It's respect too. How could she do me like this? I'm her mother.
Mm-hmm. She said she loves her mom out here.
And I love her. At the end of the day, she's still my child.
Mm-hmm. Which means what's going to happen?
I hope we can get it together.
All right. I see some tears in your eyes.
Yes, because it hurts me.
All right. Let's go to Harvey now.
I got to say, even though it's tough suing your kid, it sends a message loud and clear. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
This episode is brought to you by Experian. Are you paying for subscriptions you don't use but can't find the time or energy to cancel them? Experian could cancel unwanted subscriptions for you, saving you an average of $270 per year and plenty of time. Download the Experian app. Results will vary. Not all subscriptions are eligible. Savings are not guaranteed. Paid membership with connected payment account required.
This is the plaintiff, Martha White Smith. She says she agreed to co-sign on a loan for the defendant so she could get her house up to code. The defendant, however, turned around at the last minute behind her back and got a reverse mortgage from another place, cut her out of the deal they made, and now refuses to pay her the $2,500 fee they agreed upon for all the work she did in finding a suitable loan. So she's suing. This is the defendant, Geraldine Canty. She says she hired the defendant to be a caretaker for her, and the woman turned out to be an opportunistic scammer who tried to take advantage of her because she's old. Turns out the plaintiff did co-sign on a loan for her. She was paid $1,500 for doing that, and she refuses to pay the woman another cent. She's accused of cutting out a caretaker.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff co-signed a loan for the defendant on home improvement and got stiff, but the defendant says the scammer is the plaintiff. It's the case of the unhappy loaner.
Thank you, Douglas. Martha White-Smith, you are suing Geraldine Canty for $2,500 that you say is owed to you for services that you provided in co-signing a loan for her and referring a reverse mortgage to her. Tell me what's going on here.
I met Geraldine May.
How did you meet her?
She gave me a call. No, her sister-in-law gave me a call. Her sister-in-law gave my phone number to her. I'm a private duty nurse, and I take care of clients when they want to come out the nursing home.
Ms. Canty was being released from a nursing home. How long has she been in the nursing home?
Your Honor, that much I can't tell you.
How long had you been in the nursing home?
About 6 weeks.
Okay. Was it a nursing home or was it a rehab?
It's a rehab.
Okay. And had you had some surgery or something?
Yes, I had surgery for a pacemaker and defibrillator.
Okay. So the 6 weeks was part of the recuperation process at the rehab/nursing home?
Yes.
All right. Now, according to you, what happens?
Geraldine is competent, so I was letting her tell me what she needs. And I told her, okay, I can do that. But
did you two enter into an agreement where you were going to be a nurse for her, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, and how much were you getting paid as a nurse?
$20 an hour.
Okay, and how long did you work for $20 an hour for her?
When she would call, Your Honor.
Okay, so she would call you and you would take over for 2 or 3 hours, drive her places, get her to doctor's appointments, that kind of thing. Because you weren't really nursing with her, were you? You were actually
She didn't require nursing.
She didn't require that, so you were helping her out.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so how long is that relationship going on?
It went on maybe about maybe a week or so before the situation about what we're here for today.
Okay, so after 1 week of working for her as a nurse/helper, what happens?
They was going to red tag her house.
Who's they?
The city.
How do you know?
Well, because it was infested with bees and mold, and it was unhealthy for her to live there.
Okay, but how do you know that the government was going to red tag her house?
Craig and the people that came out to look at the house to do the reverse mortgage.
Who's Craig?
He was the one that started the process.
Who's friends with Craig?
He's a broker and the realtor.
How do you know Craig?
Oh, I've dealt with him several times on different cases.
How many cases have you been taking care of an elderly person and then suggested to them that they should have a reverse mortgage?
One reverse mortgage, but she did 2.
Okay. How many other clients have you gotten into the whole real estate biz with?
3 times.
Okay. So you tell her, Greg's going to come over here, and all of a sudden you and Greg were telling her the place is going to be red tagged. But the government was never going over there saying, hey, we see bees. Nothing like that happened.
Oh, it wasn't that's the bees, Your Honor.
Well, whatever it is, it's you guys who tell her that this is going to happen. It's not the government posting, building and zoning violations on the home, is it?
No, you're
okay. So when you go in there, you tell her this place is full of mold and it's a problem, and then what happens?
I didn't tell her, Your Honor.
You brought your friend Craig to tell her, who you've worked with on several occasions.
To get the house back livable.
Okay.
It wasn't really livable while she was even in there herself. She shouldn't have.
Do you have any pictures to show that it was unlivable?
Your Honor, I didn't take any pictures.
Okay, but your telephone does take pictures.
My telephone, but I didn't take any because that was not, what I came in there for.
What did you come in there for?
To assist her as a nurse.
Right, so why are you mixing apples with your oranges? Why is it, if your job is that, do you see like there might be a little bit of a conflict? You bringing in somebody who you've done business with several times, then telling the lady, we'll get to the issue of whether she's competent or not and knows what she's doing. That's not what I'm talking about right now. Don't you see a bit of a conflict with you supposedly being, I'm just a caretaker, and you all of a sudden saying, it's going to get red tagged. Here, meet my realtor and pay me for finding you a referral on a... Don't you see that looks distasteful to the naked eye?
I see what you're saying, Your Honor, but I was just a referral.
Were you getting money?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Then it sounds like you're meeting people, gaining their trust, and then making money off of this referral, which is exactly what it is.
But you're right, Your Honor. I shouldn't be in the part where it comes to real estate, but I only refer I knew about the reverse mortgage, and I just was sharing with her, and then she needed
You sold her a reverse mortgage, essentially.
I didn't know.
Well, you hooked her up with somebody, and if she got it, she had to pay you how much? $1,000 or $1,500?
It was $1,500.
$1,500 if you got her a reverse mortgage.
No, not the reverse mortgage, Your Honor. The reverse mortgage, the cosign, her house did not qualify. She could not financially qualify to bring her house up to code. And that's
what code? There's still no government involved in any of this. This is just you guys telling
the
her.
appraiser, in order for her to get her house to get up, for her to stay in her home and then to get...
Why stay in her home? She owned her home free and clear. She didn't owe the bank anything. Right? You own your home free and clear or no? You owe the bank.
Yes, free and clear, uh-huh.
Free and clear. She owned her home until you came around. She owned the home free and clear. She didn't owe the bank anything. So what do you mean stay in your home? According to who? You guys who want to make the money?
No. That was not the purpose that I was sharing with her. I'm sorry. I take that we're telling.
No, I don't care. But just tell me how it is that she needs a loan to stay in the house. She needs a loan for you and your friend to get paid. She doesn't need a loan to stay in the house. So do you see how that is at odds with the idea that you're supposed to take care of her and not yourself and sell something to her?
Yes,
do you see how that looks really slimy? So now let's talk. She comes in there and she says to you what?
The first day I met her, this very next day was a real estate man, broker, a handyman, and his wife came out to my house.
Okay. And did you tell them go away?
And so, no, I didn't tell them anything. They was just all through my house because I was very sick. I was doing good to put my clothes on. Then after that, they told me I was going to die if I didn't leave that house for 3 months.
Okay, so what happens? They tell you this, and what do you say?
Well, the next thing she says, the best for you to do is to get a reverse mortgage and fix this house up. Before you can get a reverse mortgage, this house will have to come under the standards of a reverse mortgage. So therefore, you would have to borrow some money on your house to fix it up for them to accept it.
Why would you need a reverse mortgage if you're borrowing the money on your house to fix it up? You wouldn't need the reverse mortgage.
Well,
or is she just trying to get you?
First thing. Well, like I said, I wasn't thinking.
So what did you end up doing? Did you end up borrowing money on using the house as collateral?
Yeah.
Did you apply for a loan?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the name of the bank is that loaned you the money?
It wasn't a bank. It was some lending institution that
she brought you. What is the lending institution?
Your Honor, I have nothing to do with real estate.
Except for that you are on the loan with her.
That's about it, Your Honor.
That's about it. That's pretty big. Okay, so how do you get involved in co-signing for the loan for her to make sure the loan goes through because she couldn't get a loan? How did that happen?
Because I was asked, Your Honor.
You were asked by whom?
Craig. You asking me? I've sent you the promissory note. I wouldn't have never got myself involved. And if you go on down to it.
Whoa, it sounds like you were really going to get yourself involved. So your friend Craig says, I'll tell you what, so she can get the loan and we can all make money. Was Craig paying you any finder's fee for any business that he was able to generate?
Craig was paying me referral fee, Your Honor.
How much of a referral fee were you getting from Craig?
For Craig, $1,000, Your Honor.
Okay, and then you were going to get $1,500 from her for the act of co-signing so she could get the loan, and then she was going to pay you another $1,000 when she got the reverse mortgage. So you go ahead and let her co-sign, right? And you enter into an agreement with her.
Yeah, they told me I needed a co-signer because my credit was so bad.
How much did you?
But I got another loan and paid this loan off.
Hold on, we're not there yet.
Okay.
This loan that you got, that first loan that you got where she co-signs, how much money was there?
It was $60,000, but I actually got $45,000.
Why? What happened with the other $15,000?
That's a good question.
What did happen with the other $15,000?
So, is it wise for an employer ever to go into a side business with one of their employees?
I don't believe it is, because it'd be a double loss if there were a bad situation. Why
do you say double loss?
Double loss. Well, you have a bad situation where you're in with your boss, and then you go back to your situation with your boss as an employer, and obviously stress.
You agreeing with him?
I agree. It's a conflict of interest.
Who's it worse for, the employer or the employee?
The employee. I think it's a conflict of interest for the employee.
That's right, because only one person can fire the other person. Got your point going inside the courtroom.
Your Honor, all I can tell you is she co-signed for the money. They gave her the money, and I got the papers.
Do you know how much money she got?
Yes, Your Honor. 60.
Much?
I got it right here, and you should
you
have
have the
a
papers?
copy.
Let me see the papers.
Okay.
So now the money goes to you, whatever money it is, and then do you start to do improvements on your house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how much did you spend on improvements on the house?
$46,000.
On the house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what did you do for $46,000?
They had to get the mold out. They had to put the roof on the top of the house and the roof on the garage.
You mean redo the whole roof?
Uh-huh, and I had a floor to be put in the kitchen. Then I needed carpets. You kind of name it, and they put windows all around the house.
Okay.
They painted the inside and they painted it outside.
So they made it nice.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now...
And the other 14,000 didn't come out of, 32,000 came out of this first loan.
Okay.
I had to get another loan to pay off them.
How did you get the other loan?
The contractor knew some people that he had worked for 40 years, and they gave me a loan.
Of how much?
For $100,000. And
where did that $100,000 go?
It paid off the first loan, which was $60,000.
Is this the reverse mortgage when you say $100,000?
Mm-hmm. This is the second one.
Is it the reverse mortgage?
Yes.
Okay. Now, my understanding of a reverse mortgage is that they allow you to access the equity in your home. You owned your home free and clear. How much is your home worth?
$350,000.
All right. So how much was the amount of the reverse mortgage? 100?
No, I applied for a loan to pay off the $60,000. In order to, we'll just make this a reverse mortgage.
Okay, stop. I need to know whether it was a reverse mortgage or not. Was your second loan, the $100,000, a reverse mortgage or a regular loan?
This what?
If I can't do it, you can't do it. This is really complicated stuff. Reverse mortgages, all these builders you brought by there, all these people making money off her. Do you think she understands what's going on? Because I don't understand what's going on here. So no, you are not going to get additional fees beyond that which your friend Craig already paid you, not from her. Verdict for the defendant.
And so like that, the gavel comes down against this plaintiff. What more evidence do you need other than what we all just witnessed?
Just what the Your Honor says, stay in my field and stay out of the real estate broker's business.
Well, what were you doing in there in the first place?
Because she needed the system.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you saw the judge speaking to the defendant. Did it look to you like the defendant knew what was going on?
You know what? The defendant did so much lying and saying different things, and she never got to look at the papers that she wanted to see what's this and that, especially about the $40,000.
Well,
So you know what?
It appears as if you took advantage of, or tried to, of an elderly person.
I thank God for her daughter.
That's great.
That's it. Thank God for her daughter.
Well, I'm glad the case was over, and I'm glad.
Hold on. All right, so come on in here. Here's the defendant right here, and what do you have to say about it here now?
Well, I'm happy that I won the case because I told the truth, and I felt like I was being taken advantage of. And I really don't want nobody else to be taken advantage of like I'm taken advantage of. And it's a lot of people out there like them to come and take, their purpose is to take their houses. That's what it's about.
You proud of yourself for coming in here and fighting this like this?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Harvey?
Okay, for the reasons stated behind me and more, terrible idea for employees and employers to go and decide businesses together. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Robin Zielinski. She says she hired the defendant to do landscaping work on her property, and the guy was paid but didn't do all of the work. Well, times are tough for everyone, and she's not about to just forget about the money she paid him in advance, considering the defendant isn't doing the work she hired him for. She's suing for $2,486.62, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, James. He says he did a number of jobs on the plaintiff's yard, and according to his books, there's a zero balance. The plaintiff's a vindictive woman who has nothing better to do than harass a good, hard-working person like himself. But he refuses to be rattled by the likes of this woman and owes her nothing but a curt goodbye. He's accused of being a lazy landscaper. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for defamation of character and harassment.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff paid her landscaper, says he didn't do the job, but the defendant says he did the work and she's a vindictive you-know-what. It's the case of bushwhack.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Robin Zielinski?
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing, you've asked to be referred to as James.
Correct.
And his business for $2,486.62 that you say you paid for in items that you did not receive, correct?
Correct.
You're counterclaiming against her $5,000 for defamation of character and harassment, correct?
Correct.
Okay, what happened?
I knew of James through my daughter's dance school, and his fiance had passed, and I knew he did landscaping, and I needed some work done, so I hired him. He came over in July 30th of 2014 to do a walkthrough, talked about what work I wanted done.
What work did you want done?
I wanted him to do a property cleanup, and then we talked about constructing flower beds, planting flowers, and then he said he could seal my driveway, seal the cracks, and do a sealant over the whole thing, and then put fresh stone at the bottom of the driveway.
Okay.
So we signed a contract for that, and he was supposed to...
May I see the contract?
Yes.
The contract you're referring to right now was entered into on what date?
The one that says 1956 at the bottom. And he came August 8th to present that, and I gave him a deposit of $1,000.
Okay, so very clearly it says flower, whose handwritten notes are there next to it?
Mine.
Okay. Flower bed construction.
Correct.
Property cleanup, both of which you acknowledge were done, right?
Correct.
Okay. The next thing is driveway sealing and patching service. The entire driveway will be power washed using a concrete wash. All oil stains will be attempted to be burned out prior to the washing of the driveway. You will fill and patch all cracks and pothole areas prior to applying the sealer coat. Okay, did that ever happen?
No.
And why didn't that happen according to you?
I paid him, he asked me for money for materials. At 2 points, I gave him a check for $240. He said he was going to pick up the seal. And then another check for $566.30 because he needed more materials to do the driveway. And he kept, if you look at the text messages in the timeline, he never showed up. He kept putting me off. And he said then winter came. So I told him I was not happy with the services, and we agreed that we would start fresh in the spring. He said in one of his text messages, I will come there in the spring with a crew. We will finish it.
Finish what, this?
The whole driveway.
Okay, and so what happened in the spring?
I contacted him in the spring. He said he would come over. He came over, asked for more money for the balance of the contract, which I paid him.
Why would you pay him if, according to you, there were all these things he wasn't doing?
You know, I try and give people the benefit of the doubt, and he seemed like genuinely that he was going to come and do the work.
Right, but how much had you paid until that point?
I paid him $17,000.
That's almost the entire contract. So why would you give him any more money?
Because he already had the rest of the money, and he seemed like he was going to do the job for me.
It's foolish, right?
Stupidity.
So how much more money did you give him?
I gave him the balance of the whole contract plus $806 for materials.
The whole contract was for $1,956. And then did he buy the materials?
I've never saw the materials.
Why wasn't the driveway done?
We did not do the driveway in the spring. We came back to do the driveway in the spring, and I had relayed to her that they did such a great job on the road.
Who's they? The people, the city? Doing the
town.
Street? That what?
They did a great job on the road, and they did part of her driveway, actually. They tore up a little less than a third of her driveway and repaved that. What was left of her driveway, it looked horrendous. I honestly would have been a really bad guy if I went ahead and just sealed it, called it a day.
So instead what?
Instead, we decided to... She had already given me money for materials and stuff like that. I had already provided those materials. So what we did was...
Where were the materials?
In her possession.
She says she never saw the materials. She shot your shot. Where in her possession are the materials? She doesn't have them in their pocket. Where is it? Where are the materials?
So what's the appropriate percentage to pay, say, a landscaper before he starts the work?
I'd say about 10%. so that they know.
10%. They may not do it for 10.
If they don't do it for 10, someone else probably will.
Okay, I get your point. He drives a hard bargain. What do you say?
Yeah, I also agree with 10%.
10, really? Anybody go higher?
Yeah. I say 10%.
Wow, you guys are hard-nosed. Going inside the courtroom.
They were put in front of her garage.
In front of her garage?
Yes.
Do you have a receipt for the materials? This is a quote, and this isn't the receipt of you purchasing something. But he's honest enough to write in the corner, my receipt was lost, but the pro service cashier knows my business and of purchase. He printed me out this service invoice of what was originally purchased. Additional sealer purchased later on. So again, you have no proof of purchase of the items that you're saying you purchased and left in front of her door, which you say you never got?
Never.
Okay, so would that be correct? Okay, so you don't have a receipt. And then the last thing was front sidewalk power washing service. Did that ever happen?
No.
Was there a reason why that couldn't happen based on the driveway?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. In fairness to him, he says that the city did pave it, it looked good, and they took up a third.
That's not correct.
Okay.
As you will see with any street that's been paved, they do the curtain of your driveway to blend it in. That's all that was done. The rest of my driveway, which is probably 200 yards, has not been touched.
Okay. What is it that you say ends up happening with all of this work? Because you never did do the driveway, did you?
The driveway remained the way it was. We didn't do.
But why? Show me a picture of the driveway. Is it in the Dropbox?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, these are pictures you took.
Correct, to show that he hadn't touched it.
Okay, and these pictures were taken when?
Some of those pictures were taken the early fall of last year, and I took one today, or this week.
Okay, why would anybody want to keep their driveway that way, especially if the street looks good?
We agreed.
And according to you, he just failed on the job.
not.
So after, according to you, she agrees to not have that done, then do you return the money that you charged to get it done?
In my eyes, I did, Your Honor, because I
How
provided
in your eyes did you?
She had miscellaneous tree service within the
Okay, no gasping, all right? This is not a whodunit, just stop.
I get it.
Go ahead.
There was miscellaneous tree service, nothing large on tree service.
You're gonna have to prove that.
The tree service that I'm speaking of was her just two large trees in her front yard, and they had limbs that were hanging off, already semi-broken off. We went ahead, we cleaned those trees up. We went along the...
What does that mean, that you cut that branch off, or that you trimmed the entire tree?
Multiple branches. We went and took anything down that wasn't secure and brought everything up a little bit.
And didn't charge her?
I did not give her an actual paper bill for that, no.
What did you do instead?
Transferred
Did she know how much you were paying yourself for that? How much did you pay yourself for that?
I'm not sure.
So now, when's the next time you give him more money because you're just not done, okay? Because you don't know when to stop. You gave him something else after this. Tell me what you did.
Actually, there was $160.36 added to that.
Which means now that you have paid him $2,922.66?
Yes.
For $400 and some odd dollars worth of work? Mm-hmm. Do you have any evidence of having earned the amount that you've kept that you didn't do the original work for?
I'm going to say no then.
Let's talk about your counterclaim. You have a counterclaim against her for $5,000. Talk to me.
Her daughter goes to my fiance who passed away, her dance studio.
I'm sorry
she
to
left
hear
that to her sister. That's why she contacted me in 2014. Now, when things started not going her way, she was using that studio leverage on me.
How?
She was going to bring things to light about my deceased fiance that did not need to be brought to light, that had nothing to do with the two of us.
How so, though? What is she? Who does she threaten that to? I guess you're saying she threatened that?
Myself.
And how was she going to bring them up?
Well, she had threatened to me very recently with the news station. She kept using that to pretty much hold me to do what she wanted because
Which is what? What did she want you to do at that point?
Meaning that she didn't agree with the services I provided, and that.
What did she want? Just tell me what she wanted.
More service.
Tell me about that.
I have all my text messages showing how many times he never showed up, never contacted me.
Let me see your text messages. I read a very frustrated 2015 September plaintiff saying, I have no choice but to take you to court. I filled out the paperwork and I am willing to go to the I-team at WSFB Channel 3. This is in no way a threat, and as you said earlier, no judge in their right mind will do anything since you are, in your words, quote, willing to work with me. Well, I guess we will have to see what the judge says, because if this is how you, quote, work with someone, you have a serious lack of work ethics. I've tried many, many times to give you the benefit of the doubt, and yet you still continue to ignore me and never follow through on anything you say without my calling you and or texting you all day. Then you say you'll be here and you never show. You never really went to the news station, right?
I emailed them and I never heard from them.
Okay. Did you threaten to bring his deceased fiance into the
Absolutely never.
What have we learned here today?
A very valuable lesson.
Really? What is that lesson?
To not pay anything up front for services not done.
Anytime you pay somebody in advance and they're going to, quote, work it off, there needs to be a very clear agreement about how they're going to work it off. He states that you received all the materials, so even if he didn't do the driveway, he shouldn't have to pay you back money for the materials. He cannot even prove that he bought the materials. That's not going to be on her. That's going to be on you, okay? The driveway doesn't happen, and you say, but I don't have to return money for that, Judge, because I worked it off in other forms. So I say to you, prove it. You are unable to prove that you worked it out in any other forms. You completely deny that there's any work that he did to work off any of these amounts. And her emails and texts to you, to me, relay a person who's completely frustrated with what she feels is complete and utter theft of her money. Based on the numbers, the work that I see has been completed, the work that you say you completed that you cannot prove, the materials that you say you bought with her money that you cannot show, I am finding in favor of the plaintiff on her claim against you in the amount of $2,486.62, as she is asking, and on your counterclaim against her for $5,000 for defamation and harassment by trying to collect her hard-earned money, I find 0. That is my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hold on right there. I gotta say, I guess I'm a softie. I would go up to 50%, not a penny more.